see you pop in here. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan, and you're in my shop. Be sure you take off those rings and watches. We don't need any bling to prove who we are. You need to have these 10 fingers when we get done. All right, I'm going to turn a little something special today. Well, okay. Maybe it's not that special. But what I want you to do in the meantime, you know the drill. You got to watch. Years ago, it still happens now, I get gifts in the mail from fellow turners who want to share a little something that they've done. Got some awesome ink pens in my time, some click pens, some rifle pens, some arrow pens, some sand-made pens, all kinds of things. I get all kinds of stuff from you guys, and I really appreciate it. But I got something a long time ago, and I picked it up at an arts fair, and it was $3, and it was an ink pen. And you say $3 for an ink pen? Yeah. Well, guy knew me, and he knew that I liked his stuff, so he decided to do some pens. But he didn't know anything about kits and Pen State Industries and Craft Supplies and Barrera and all those other people that sell pen kits. And I apologize if I missed one of your favorites. But all he knew was that people like to have pens. And this is a pen that one of the guys in the gang here, you see, is it zooming on it? Yeah, it's getting on it. There it is. See, I gotta learn how to hold stuff. This is a wooden pen. Now take a close look at it. There's no kit. You see that? That's no kit. That's my mug. No kit. This is a shop turn pen without a kit. Now, 10 years ago, I did a YouTube called the 12-cent pen. And I had a lot of folks write me and call me about this. How do you mean the 12-cent pen? Well, I bought a whole package of pen kits. I got them over at Wally World. And it looked just like this. It had BIC, which is English interpretation of instant ink pen. Yeah, really. But I got 12 of these pens, and these 12 cost me 88 cents. Yeah, it's the Extra Life, which means it writes 40% longer. It's more than I do. And it's black. Oh no, this one's blue. And be doggone, I got to looking at what I did 10 years ago, what Ron Radliff did for me, and this is his pen with a holder that's got a magnet on it that'll stick on the refrigerator or the lathe or wherever else you want it at. See it? Sticks right there and hangs out. Management's got a couple of these up on a fabrication table where she puts the orders together. And it is a simple little project. Now I've seen some people's make them more complex. You don't have to make them more complex. Ron did this with about a 3/8 inch barrel on this end. I guess that's 3/8. That looks 3/8. And then it stepped it up to maybe a 1/2 inch on the other edge to swell it out a little bit. It's actually comfortable in the hand because it's 3/8 of an inch. Same size about as a Bic ink pen is. If you get too artsy-fartsy with all the bumps and grooves and all down there, you got to think about the person who's going to use it. They might like it, but I'll leave that alone. But you can turn these things, they're relatively simple. Now I got 12 kits for 88 cents. You do the math. I didn't spend 12 cents on this. Okay? What I got was, and I have here, have an ink pen. I grabbed my remove from refill thing, and I grabbed the end of it and pulled it out. Don't crush it too much because you don't want the marks on it, alright? So I got that. Put that out the way. Now that is my refill. That is the part that's critical to my pen. What is this? This, for you folks that live in California, this could be the straw you end up carrying in your pocket if you like a straw. Yeah, you can get a knife and you pop the little end off, and then you can keep it in your pocket, and you And to keep it from soiling your pocket, you can put the plastic end back on it, put it in there, and I don't have a pocket. Oh, there it is. And then I'll have a straw every time I go to the grocery store to buy a drink or the restaurant. Yesterday was the first time I had a fellow in the restaurant ask me, "Do you really want that straw?" No, it's no habit. I don't want to break it. But all this is trash. It goes out the way. Now, I got a whole box full of them here, and then I went looking for pen blanks to turn out of. And I've got stashes of lumber going on around here. For those that didn't know it, I lost my mind, or just a little chunk of it from right here. About 4 years ago. 4 years ago this month, really. Diagnosed brain tumor. They went in and took the tumor. Didn't work. They went back and took some more. That didn't work. I ended up learning how to walk for 8 months. It's been a nightmare. It has. But I'm here. I am looking down at the daisies, not up at the daisies. As long as I'm not up at the daisies, I'm okay. You are too. And I don't care what they say. Cancer won't kill you. It'll just make you want to die. All right. So, I went and found some stuff. I found something that I'm not sure, but I think it's a spruce. It's got some little pin knots in it and all, but it's pretty. It's simple. It doesn't have to be exotic. We're going to chuck this up. You'll love this. We're going to chuck this up. No, we're not. We're going to drill a hole in it, and then we're going to chuck it up, and then we're going to turn it. And it's all be done in one step. Ha ha ha! You don't believe it, do you? It's simple. We're going to talk more about that. I get off track, and then YouTube tells me I ran too long. I don't know who YouTube's watching me. They're watching me close. All right. Gotta say, this is the first day of August 2018. Went to a time warp there. SWAT is only 24 days away. SWAT, one of the world's finest wood-turning exhibitions and symposiums in the world, is going to be in Waco, Texas, the 24th, 25th, 26th of this month. There's not a way in the world I'm missing it. They'll put me in a box and haul me over there if I die between now and then. But I'm going to be at SWAT, because that's where you should be, with other people who like to turn. There's no club, there's no organization, there's no, got to have a membership and I got a little label on it. You don't have any of that. You go to SWAT, you pay the entries fee, which is the same for everybody, and you get all the stuff, and you go to the symposiums. And if you can't afford to go to the symposiums and the meetings and all, you can still go to the sales floor. It's free. And that's right there in the middle of the convention center at Waco, Texas. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right? Really, I count on it. A little while ago, I got off the phone with Tim talking about segment turning. Tim is out of Texas. That's a big place. I don't remember where. But Tim says he used to belong to a wood turning club, and the guys convinced him that he didn't belong there because all he likes to do is segment at work. Really? What idiot running that operation? Segment at work is the opportunity to take little pieces and make them into big pieces. Opportunity to take wood and make it into art. An opportunity to take refuge and make it into a viable source. It's an opportunity. You don't always get that opportunity. I can't find a block of wood to turn an urn out of right now because I don't have any large wood left. When I got sick, the family, and all that wouldn't. All right, you got that? But I want to make a teapot, sort of like Mike Gibson does, and mine's going to be all segmented pieces. And I'm now looking for the right contour and shapes of the grains. When I slice it, I would get some rainfall looking stuff. It's important. Guess what? You can get that when you segment. Who's driving a bus? You. Who's in charge? You. Who's the designer? You. If that ain't wood turning, what is? So, Tim, get out there and start doing some turning. Also heard from Vince Welch. Vince Welch has added new products to his product line. And I'm not really that into the micro meshes and the woven and all that. I've got them. Vince sends them to me. I use them. I like them. If you into acrylics or plastics or coriander, one of those things, and you need to sand, remember what I said here, sand up to 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 grit. These are the kind of pads you want because they cut very nicely, they last a long time, and he can run with the Dragons, which means he's got the good prices for the good stuff. I stick with my silicone oxide. I stick with some basic pads and stuff, and I've got some wets and dries and other versions, but I don't do enough plastics and epoxies to be there. But if I did go there, I do know I can go to Vincent Wood Wonders and get everything I need. So that's one thing. Talk about that. A guy the other day asked me if I read a recent article in the AAW magazine, whatever that thing is called. No, I haven't. In 5 years, I haven't laid an eye on that magazine. Why? I can't pay $50 a year for a magazine subscription, and I think that's cheap if I got into it. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see some of the old issues of what was out there. Why? Thought powder. Thought powder? Thought power. If you see it and focus on it and get around what you're looking at, you can create it. So if you go to something that's got a gallery, carry a good camera. Don't, please. It embarrasses me when you guys whip these out and call them good cameras. Come on. Not a good, it's all right. It's better than what we had when we were a kid. We had a piece of stone and chalk and you drew pictures. But, you think I joke. We had one Kodak Cadet camera, 120 square frame film, and taking pictures was a royalty. You better be, yeah. Every one of you kids better be smiling when I snap that picture, or you won't smile for a long time. You remember those days? Well, AAW magazine's the same way. It's a snapshot into what is out there and what people are doing. I like to see that. I want to see what folks are working on and how they got into it. And that's how I'm doing this. Pen turning. I belong to a wood turning association. I was president of one for 10 years. And a guy there that's high up on the hierarchy said, pens? I don't turn pens. I'm sorry, I got to do it right. Pens? I don't turn pens. You see, this has got to come up and you say that. I don't turn pens. Why? He's an artist. He's got a freaking card that says he's an artist. Wood turning artist. Hey, you know what? You guys that turn pens, you're probably twice the artist that clown was. Could be, ever be. Why? You're taking a very small block of wood. Very small block of wood. And you're making it to something that people put their hands on and deal with day in and day out. It's not a glorified bowl sitting on a counter or a piece on a mantelpiece or something hanging on the wall. It is here and now. Why do I want to get on this rant? Because I want to explain to you that if you can understand that everything that goes into turning this pen goes into turning that vase, that bowl, that piece, everything else. All that work goes into this pen. Why? Well, I have to drill it. I have to mount it on a mandrel. I have to spin it. I have to shape it. Then I have to sand it and finish it and put a good finish on it. What else do you do to a piece? I didn't think you had that. Nope. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. Stick with me. I'll move a camera so I can talk to you while we do this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Let's turn a pen. Okay, first off, if my voice changes, it's because I'm going to be wearing my shield. I wear my shield when I turn nowadays. A lot more than I used to. Why? Really? After you have a traumatic brain injury, then you got to ask me why I would do something? Whew. Okay. But I'm not going to get hurt again. That's part of the deal. This is a 6-inch long, 5/32 drill bit. I picked this up at a machine shop supply company that does specialty tools. And they got these in stock. 5/32 works really well. I locked down my tailstock, and I've got my chunk of wood up here. The beauty of this is, this piece of wood is, what, 6 inches long? So I'm going to pretty much drill almost through to the end of the piece. Maybe you can see that, almost to the end. All right? That's giving me enough room to get my piece in there. What am I doing here? All right. I'm going to crank her up. Remember, this is a 5/32 bit. I found the center of the piece. Just to help me get started straight down the center, I want to use the quill a little bit and push it in. And I met a little resistance, which means I'm there. So, cleaned off a little bit. Why didn't I go back to using the tailstock? I don't want to apply too much pressure on this. I want the drill bit to do the drilling. If I apply too much pressure, I can get this to drill clean out of the side, into my fingers, ruin my piece, get hurt. So I'm using this bit for a couple of reasons. It takes just a second or two. Now I can go put this in a drill press and probably drill it in half the time. But can I force that bit to come out the side of the piece? Yes, I can. Would I mean to? No. But when I've got my fingers on it like this, I can feel the shimmy. I can feel what it wants to do. I can feel the resistance. Much more than I can if I'm pushing on the lever of the drill press to come down. I'm about a 1/4 inch away. This is the one. I'm up to the mandrel. Now, I should note something. When I bring this up, this is the tailstock piece. I'm not going to be center. You see? Can you see? Want me to move you? All right, I'll move you. See, I had complete control over it, and still I walked off to one side. It's not important, as long as I know that that's the center. But I want to work with that center. So I'm going to crank it back up. That is a true center. Then I'm going to bring my steady in a little bit. Oop, tighten it up a little bit. Bring up my steady a little bit. I got to remember that when I get to the top up here, I can't be too much smaller than this or I'll see the inside. It's only 5/32. I got a little more room than that, but I can get a little artsy with it. That's what I'm going to do right now. Move my tool rest into place. I got to brag a little bit. I cleaned this tool rest and the slide underneath and all 2 weeks ago, and that's before I got a little problem with congestive heart failure, and I was put off limits to here. But I moved it so easy. It slid so nice because I spent 15 minutes and cleaned it up. Do that. Clean up your stuff. Now, I want to get past you right now. Get to my roughing gouge. This is a roughing gouge I like. This is a from D-Way Tools. I believe it's a 3/4 inch. 45 degree grind on it. I like this because it works really well for me. A little bit tighter. I want to switch from the roughing gouge to my skew. This is a 3/4 inch skew. And works. This is a great practice for the skew. This is awesome practice with skew. If you got a problem making this thing cut, this is where you go. A little bit of piece of wood, a little bit of time, and a little bit of effort, and you'll learn to master this tool. The guy I learned it from, throw him a lot of credit, is Elie Avasarra. Because he could sit there with it and play and do fancy little things. And it was all this hand. So let's crank it back up. Shields up. Show you where we at right now. We're right here. We've knocked down a good bit. A little pin knot up there bothers me a little bit, but it's going to fill nicely with the finish. Got a little tear down here, but I haven't ran my skew through that too good. And I'm right down to the end. I got a little flat spot right there. I'm going to work that off. How do I determine how big this will be on this end? Well, I take a good hard look at what I had when I got started. When I got started, I had an ink pen that looked like this. And it had a nib that ran down on the end of it. Oh, you can't see that. Some fat guy's got his hand in the way. Right here. Now better? All right. And what I'm going to do is neck this down to that point so that there isn't a lot of transition between this blue and the wood. I need some transition, but not a lot. Shields up. Did you see that? I turned my skew over so I can use just the edge. Clean up that point. There's no rules about which way's up, which way's down, okay? So that all feels nice. I got a knot right there, but I want to fix that. Then I'll go back and clean up this. You want to do fun, do this left-handed. I can't even pick my nose left-handed. Okay, you need to know that. I'm going to turn my speed down a great deal, probably to about right there. See it? Count them. 52. Right? Then I'm going to get out my sandpaper. I'm going to start at 120. Well, let's not get into this thing where I can start at 320. No, you can't. Let's go. I'm going to go to 120. I'm stepping up from the 80 to 120 today. Then I'm going to go ahead and knock down these spots and get this thing rounded out a little bit. Make sure it's comfortable to a fit. And look, you see what's happening on the sandpaper? See a little bit of stuff right there? That's what I'm looking for. I'm a nut about sanding. I really am. It's the finishing of a piece. And you got to think about this. Why is it called that? It's the finishing. So I'm going to sand this. I'm going to go 120, 180, 220. Going to get this right. 180. Why? Because I want the chatoyance, the beauty of the wood, to speak out to me. If I have it all scratched up, it won't speak out to me. It won't look good. You see, no buildup of cleaned off and showed. No buildup of sawdust on there. I'm not burnishing it. I'm sanding it. I am removing sawdust. See it coming off? That's what I want to see. Now, if I'm just burnishing, and I'll look here, and this will be all burnished in, just worn out, then a couple of things. I wasted my time, and I wasted my sandpaper. I make sandpaper go a long way. So, went to that. Now, this is my 320. and it'll go in and sand 320. Now, tell me wood pen turners that you sand a 600, 800, or 1,000 grit. That's fine. It is wood, okay? And I'm going to put a finish over it. I don't need to go that crazy. And I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm not crazy. All right? Again, it's still sanding. See how sandpaper, sawdust is coming off, but it's not gooping up the wood, the sandpaper. I'm not burnishing in. I can just hold this here and get it built up and wear it out, and it'll look smooth, and this will be all clogged up. That's not where I want to go. I want to go to a relatively smooth finish. That's what I have there. Now, where do I go now? I've determined how I want the end of it to look like. I can handle that. This end, I'm going to roll that off. But before I do that, I want to do a little ornamentation. Got it? Got it. Okay, I don't know where it cut off yet, but something cut off. I took my skew, I put 3 lines in here. Then I took my burnishing wire, piece of piano wire, and I went over the top of it. It gave me my 3 sergeant stripes. Then I went back with it still at that speed, and I sanded out any burnishing that might have came from the wire. Because I want this to be flawless. Now, taking my skew and I'm flipping it over. And I'm going to sneak in here with the point down. Why? Because it works smoother. Seems to be easier. Back with you now. Move my tailstock out. You can see what I have here. I've cleanly sliced. Can you see it? Let me get in there. Oh, come on, Moses, get in there. Zoom out. Zoom back and see. I got a good clean cut there. I don't have a lot of tears. That's important, not to have a lot of tears. The piece is also running extremely well. Look at that. That is on a mandrel. That is a drill bit. Now, bring the speed back down because I don't like sanding at high speeds. Just burnishes the wood. So, that far down. I'll come in here and shape it with a 120. I'll put a lot of down side pressure on it. We're just looking to clean up the bottom a little bit. 120. And you see, I'm working on this thing not between centers, but because I got a good steady drill bit. It's running very true. I'm not getting a lot of wobble, a lot of dance, which means I have ultimate control of the piece, and I'm driving a bus. Cleaned up. Now I can step up and clean this up 400 or 600 grit if I choose to. But right now, hard to get a good picture with this far away. This is very nicely done. I'm going to put a finish on it. To put a finish on this, I'm going to start off with a 50-50 mix of this product right here. Lacquer sanding sealer made by Deft. Available at PPG paint stores and always Amazon.com. But you can also get it through Ace Hardware store. Just going to put it on. It's a sanding sealer. So it's made to close the pores up and give you a better finish. It's not the finish. Although when I was a kid working in the wood turning shop, it was almost the finish we used all day long. Now, that's it. I can crank this up now. I'm going to give you a coat on it. And I used these blue towels from Home Depot. This is a blue paper towel. The guy said, I looked all the other day, they didn't have an 1.5 inch wide. No, I got a bandsaw. Just cut it off. So that's a sanding sealer. Got it? Now, what I'm going to do is buff this off a little bit with my Scotch-Brite This is not out of Mama's kitchen. I get this from Vincent Wooden Wonders. Don't be kind if it's not Vince Roach and ain't Vincent Wooden Wonders. Got that cleaned off. This feels really nice. I've got sealer on it only. I've done 2 coats of sealer. Now I'm going to go over to the cabinet and get in some Starbond. Can you read that? Right? See it made by Starbond. I prefer this product because it's fresh, it's durable, and they're very good to wood turners. Put a few drops on the pad, go over the pen. Didn't go back and forth. Why? Because I don't want it to chemically heat up the wood. By the time I got the first coat done, and come down with the second coat, and I don't have my gloves on right now. So I'm doing this lightly. Third coat. That's it. I don't have any real build up on my fingers. Don't spit on them, don't lick them. Whatever you do, don't lick them. Whoa! And that's with 3 drops, 3 fairly heavy drops of EMO2 by Starbond. CPH International's website. Then I'm going to buff that off a little bit. Notice how difficult this finish is? Yeah. Right. That's it. I'm going to remove this. Sometimes I don't recommend you do this. I'm just going to grab the pen, hit the power. As I hold the pen, it builds up, then I can back off. That's it. The pen is essentially complete. Oh, I gotta put it together? God thought so. Now we're all on page 1. This came off the lathe. I have a medium gloss finish on it. Oh, I got a little fuzz on there too. That'll come off with the buffing wheel. But I can now buff this on my... I don't use the Beal. I've got things like the Beal system. Rock shops sell buffers for different stages, and you'll find it's the material that the buffing wheel is made out of and how it's sewn together to make it what it is. And I found a little rock shop on the corner down here in the Ace Hardware store that had them a lot cheaper than some other places. So I got the refill. I'll slip the refill in. Gonna put a little bit of pressure to get it out the end. That's what it looks like at the end. Can you see that? All right, now, my fingers don't work that far down. Worried about it having a little nib and a little your fingers aren't down. If your fingers down there, you're a little bit of a bitty guy. So, this is less than 12-cent pen. Do the math. 88 cents. I got to put 9% tax on it. Divided by 12. 8 1/4 cents, something like that. But that's a fun little project. What did I do? I drilled, shaped, decorated, sanded, finished with a good finish. See, CA glue for this is a really good finish because it holds up to the oils on your fingers and won't deteriorate, and it works good being on the bench, on the table. If the dimension is critical for where it slides into a holder, see if I can find Ron's holder over there. And I want to show you how to do this holder again. I've got it on the site, but it would fit down into the holder. See, this would have to be about that narrow for another inch or so, and then I could swell it up a little bit. Got to play with it. Got to remember, don't go outside of the specifications and standards. Oh wait, you made those specifications and you set those standards, so you can do pretty much any damn thing you want. Make a few of them, use up some scrap, practice with your tools, get better with your finish, and show these to those guys that say, I'm not into wood turning, I'm not into pen turning. Alright, so you're not into pen turning. I am. I'm into pen turning art. Ha ha ha! Live with that one. I'm Captain Eddie Castleman. I'm glad you visited me in the shop. Get back here as soon as you can. This is nice. You know what? I need this from a workbook. Yeah. Not a bad looking piece of wood, too. Oh, wait, I got to tell you. This is all brought to you apart by Big Guy Productions. The website is www.eddiecastellan.com. That's it. That's where you find the cutters and the templates and bars and all that other stuff. And if we're not selling that, we're not going to be here. So just let you know. And health-wise, I had a serious scare with congestive heart failure. I'm going to get all the letters worked out. I had a serious scare with congestive heart failure about a week ago. Something wasn't working. And we know that on the general doctor side, they made some adjustments to get things working. On the cardiologist side, we're still waiting for the genius to tell us. But he says it can all be fixed. But I'm restricted duty, limited on what I can do and how I can do it. But I'm having fun. That's what you need to go do. You need to go out in your shop and have some fun. Oh, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. You need to go out in your shop and start making shavings. Captain Eddie, take care. I'm getting ready to go back in the house. And as I'm getting ready, I'm going to change my glasses. But I didn't have to, because I forgot to put on my safety glasses. Where you guys at? You don't talk to me? You don't remind me? I wore my shield, did all that, but the deal is, you got to protect these things. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, the face. Think about it. I really got to protect this face. So if you see me doing something like this, I don't mind being fussed at it or talked to because I need it. You do too. Shield up. Wear your safety glasses. Proper gear. And get out in the shop. But I do like this pen. I'm going to get me a pocket now. Oh, got one.